What's going on, y'all? So, we got another episode of She-Hulk. This time, I think it's episode 6. Is that episode 6? Yep. She-Hulk, season 1, episode 6, called Just Jen. And I will say I do like how they, they did the Just Jen. They changed, instead of saying She-Hulk, attorney at law, it says Just Jen, attorney at law. But let me give you the synopsis and we're gonna get straight into it. So the synopsis reads: Jen is a bridesmaid in a friend's wedding, a stressful event compounded by a uniquely She-Hulk situation. Issues, actually. This episode was, I want to say it was bad. It was a typical wedding episode. Even Jenny broke the fourth wall to talk about it and how it was unique. It was a unique, it was one of those episodes that it was just I guess you could say she almost referenced as a throwaway episode that was going to take control of the show in the middle of a crucial point in the show. But this show, and while she said that, it kind of did move some story plots forward. We got to get another tease of this mysterious people that's after Jen, in her blood. Specifically, they trying to look like they might be trying to make more Hulks. Which means, I'm guessing that was a tease for another appearance of the Wrecking Crew, probably a second attempt to try to get She-Hulk. But yeah, the wedding, it basically saw Jennifer Jen going to a wedding, which we've seen in the trailers before, with her wearing that blue dress and stuff. She goes to a wedding of a friend who is really not I guess you could say she's not really a friend. She's more of a person that she used to be friends with, but not really anymore. And I'm guessing this episode was probably to appease the people the trolls or whoever you want to call it, that was getting hurt by, the whole they make a man look like douchebags every episode thing. Because this was like the reverse opposite of it. This episode made women basically the douchebags of the episode, specifically the bride and her friends and how they treated Jen. This was like the role reverse. So now it wasn't just like they done it before in She-Hulk in the previous episodes, but this was like full on the same level how they do men. Except it was the women. They showed how the bridesmaids and the bride herself was like dicks to Jen. This episode, it was good. I'm trying to remember what else happened. She tries to be Jen because obviously the bride is like, I want to say the bride is basically don't want to be upstaged by Jen as She-Hulk, so she made Jennifer promise that she wouldn't become She-Hulk. I was trying to think of the side story because I forgot. I was trying to think of, it was something that made me laugh in this episode, and then I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. That's when we get on to the subplot or the side story. The side story for this episode was just basically, I can't remember her name. But the lawyer lady that helped her in the previous episode with Titania and Jen's friend / assistant, paralegal, I think that's what she called, paralegal. Basically, they take on the case while Jen is at a wedding. They take on a case about this guy called the Immortal. Or the Immortal. Did he say that his name was the Immortalist or the Immortal? But basically, that's where you're gonna get your, in the subplot. That's the little side story. That's where you're gonna get your drama court stuff. Court field drama and that, you know, they dealing with him and his multiple ex-wives. And the reason why I say it was a funny scene was when you watch, if you watch the episode, they talk about how he's the reason why he had all these multiple ex-wives and maybe husbands, is because, one, they revealed that he really is immortal, like he's been living like forever. And the reason why he's basically like all these people, because he's not really a confrontational person. He doesn't like confrontation. And when he's hiring Jen's friend and the lawyer lady, you know, to represent him against his multiple ex-wives and, you know, spouses. And it was when they hear his story, they begin to just tear this dude down. He's like the only, I guess you could say he's the only guy person in this episode that gets tore down by, you know, by the women. But it was done in a way that I really didn't care, because it was so funny how he dealt with it. And it's just like they basically were just getting at him, and they couldn't let him get a word in, and he was just like, okay. And what he did next, I ain't gonna lie, it made me laugh, because it was like, that's like the one thing probably all men want to do in that situation. What else I could say? But yeah, actually, but even though like that little side story wasn't really that interesting, or like that I would say, but it did lead to, the side story did lead to the major thing I was talking about with the people that tease that we got, with the people is going to try to get probably in the next episodes, or, you know, or the next couple of episodes. They was going to try to get Jennifer's blood. So, but that's what that little side story eventually leads to. It eventually leads to them finding some type of finding this website. And I didn't know this until after I saw the episode, that the name of the website is an actual thing in the comics. It wasn't just something made up for the show. It's an actual thing in the comics. I guess they're like they're like the anti, they like the evil version of the Illuminati, is what I saw. They basically could be compared. They could be like the anti-Illuminati, because they consist of the smartest supervillains of the Marvel comic books, and that's basically what that tease was. So they was teasing whether or not, you know, it's showing you that they all, now that we showed you the Illuminati in live action form, we're gonna also show you their evil counterpart. So we did get a tease with that. Everything else was typical. Titana showed up. Titana showed up in this episode as she was dating. I guess she was dating one of the groomsmen. But it was obvious that she was just using the guy to get to the wedding to mess with Jennifer. And they even had like a little moment about that where Jennifer's like, I knew it. And she was like, no, duh. Like, I told you, the last time I saw you, I told you this wasn't over. So, obviously, when you saw me again, this was supposed to be me I was going to be trying to get you back. Obviously, this is all just to get you back. Like, so of course you knew this was going to happen. There's a fight scene with Titana and She-Hulk, as that was like the once she had that talk with the bride, that was like the only other time she became She-Hulk. Now, with that being said, I'm segueing into what I didn't like about this episode was that I say this in every one. I always comment about the CGI, but the CGI and the difference I want to say about my previous times I commented on it is the CGI was wonky, but it did it in such a way that it was different because it was like on and off. it was like in certain scenes, like once and this only happened once she became She-Hulk the second time in the episode when she get ready to fight Titana. That whole time she became She-Hulk again and about to fight Titana, it kept jumping from being good to being bad. Like it was even after everything, like in between, even in the fight scene, it was good, it was bad, it was good, it was bad. And I was just like, that just irritated me. And then like even when she was hugging the bridesmaid, it just jumped to being good again. I'm like, will you just stick to it? And then it's like, and I thought about it. I'm like, maybe that's what happens when you try to go back and clean up the CGI. You end up with the best case scenario where hopefully people don't recognize it, that yeah, it's kind of like jumping between bad and good. Because at times it was like at one point it was horrendous. Like the way she was moving was horrendous. But then it jumped to her and looking like on par with the Hulk himself. So it was like that was like my only thing. I think that was my only thing I didn't like about this episode. Other than that, the story was just bland. Like because I really didn't really didn't care about the overall wedding plot, but it was entertaining enough for me to watch it just because I enjoy. Like I said, like I always say, I'm a Hulk fan. I enjoy She-Hulk and Hulk, so it was just like okay, it was entertaining enough for me to watch, but really didn't care about it other than the plots, other than the points that moved the story along in the direction I want to see. With that being said, I'm gonna give this episode a generous 6 out of 10, just because one reason, just because I did get that laugh in that one scene with the Immortal, and then I did get my fight scene with She-Hulk versus Titana. So. And then everything else was just okay to me. So it was just like all together 6 out of 10. But you let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this episode of She-Hulk, and if you enjoyed this video, you also let me know that. Also, if you want to see more videos like this, you hit this button right there in the upper right corner for all of my reviews. And if you enjoyed this review video so much you want to support the channel, all you gotta do is hit that like, subscribe, share, hit that notification button, hit that thanks button, and hit that join button. Do all those great things, and hit any one of these videos or these 2 videos for more of my amazing content. But don't go anywhere, we got more coming. Yeah, peace out.